From the campus lights to the game day fight, Texas dust on the boots, packed out stands in the sun. Every school has a story, every season has one. Turn it up, lean in close, hear that crowd start to roll. The Cory Hogue Sports Show, the Cory Hogue Sports Show. Big stories and real conversations, bring the truth, let it roll. The Cory Hogue Sports Show, the Cory Hogue Sports Show. For the schools beyond the spotlight, where the heart of the game still shows.
This is the Cory Hogue Sports Show for Friday, August the 21st, episode number 15. Big thank you to those listening and or watching on Facebook. I can't even get it open today. YouTube or Substack. If you haven't been there, Cory Hogue Sports, CoryHogue Sports.substack.com. Lots and lots of content on there. And we're going to preview some more that's coming up next week because football season started last night for junior college. We'll have a few more junior college games this weekend. And as far as the Substack goes, because I can't do a 3-week zeros, we're going to make next week week 0, and that's when we're going to start the coverage. Also, if you are not following March to the Pod Substack, I can't recommend it highly enough. Listen, Sam Houston football right now, they just got a jersey sponsorship with Snapback Sports. The CEO of Snapback Sports, Jack Settleman, was on March to the Pod with myself and Ben Sorrells last night. It was an outstanding episode. It was so great to have Jack on, and he's welcome anytime to any show. They are awesome. Just learned about Snapback Sports. If you read the March to the Pod Substack page, you will know that. But I couldn't be more impressed. And also, keep me from getting in trouble with Gabe. Please like and subscribe on YouTube, Facebook, anywhere you can find it. Like and subscribe. Hit those buttons. As far as coming up Monday morning, content-wise, we're going to conclude next week. We'll conclude our 5-question series. Monday, we're going to have the SWAC. And on Wednesday, the United Athletic Conference. And that will close out the 5-question series, and just in time. I'm going to try something here. Let me see if I can do this. Okay, I'm still on stage. I did not load this like I should have before, so we got to do it now. This is Nick Saban on the need to have the right guys on your bus.
But these goals won't just be about you individually being able to accomplish these goals, because one of the things on that pyramid of success I talk about is being a team. And the big part of being a team is you have to be able to communicate with other people, and you have to work with other people. And you can never have any team chemistry for this reason. Mediocre people don't like high achievers, and high achievers don't like mediocre people. So if everybody doesn't buy into the same principles and values of the organization and the same high standard, you're never going to be successful. Just like our spring practice right now. You know what my goal with spring practice is? Get the right guys on the bus, get them in the right seats, and get the wrong guys off the bus. So one of these days, you're going to be working in an organization, and somebody's going to try to do that to you. So which one of those people do you want to be? Do you want to be somebody they're trying to get off the bus because you're satisfied with mediocre performance? Because you can never have any team chemistry in your organization if everybody's not committed to the same standard and the same things.
What Nick Saban said there is 100% true. When you're dealing with a team, an organization, a company, right? You got to have all the people riding in the same direction from the top down. And we will discuss plenty of dysfunction that's happening around that does not follow this. We're going to discuss that throughout this show. But it's important for team sports, Nick Saban's 100% right. But I want to take it one step further, and I want to take it to life. Have the right guys on your bus. Properly place the people on your bus. Listen, it changed my life when I read the oh goodness, that book just totally skipped my mind. The Energy Bus. There it is, the Energy Bus. Because the way I view life, I have a bus, right? And the bus are all you people who know me, you're on the bus. You all have a spot. I have a spot for anyone who wants to be on the bus. Always. But there's different sections of my bus. And in life, and we'll get to the team concept in a minute, but in life, I'm going to open the door. I allow anyone on my bus. And the first people that come in, you're sitting in business class. My wife told me that's not as good as first class, so that's how we're going. You're sitting in business class. That's a pretty good class to be. Now, how our relationship goes from there determines whether sometimes you get bumped up to first class, sometimes you get bumped back to commercial. And listen, there are people, and it seems to always be a growing number, who decide that they're going to take themselves off the bus, so I open the back door and they go out. You don't have to be on my bus. You don't have to let people on your bus. What kind of people do you want to keep off your bus? Those negative energy people. Those people who every time, if you go, man, I really don't want to go over there, I don't want to see this person, that's a sign they shouldn't be on your bus. You might, if you work at a place and you're not in charge of hiring who's on your bus, you don't have a choice. Now, you're not going to get along necessarily, but you have to be professional in that case. But being professional does not mean they're on your bus. You got to remember that. And put people in the right spots. Because when you get trouble, someone who's not there and really striving for the best for you and in the same direction as you and whatever else it is in life or whatever, if they're up in the first class, they're going to cause a problem. So you got to get those problems back. Put them in commercial. If you have to, stop the bus and kick them off. Or kick them off while you drive. It's your choice. Who are you going to surround yourself with, though? Who do you want to surround yourself with? This is a question for each of us. I like people with, the same energy. We all like people. Listen, we're human beings, right? We like people with the same energy, people, same views, whether it be political, social, sports, yada, yada, yada. On and on and on. We always like that because we're humans. We gravitate towards people who agree the same way we do, which is why it's important to step outside your bubble and try to find those who disagree with you, because that's where you learn. So you don't just want the people on your bus that are yes men. Those cannot be your first class passengers. You got to have them back a ways. Your first class passengers, you need some people that are making sure you're heading in the right direction. Making sure that GPS is on track correctly. Make sure that you're giving your best effort, the right attitude, a proper response, and not quitting and making no excuses. You earn your victories. That's how you do it. Now, that's life. When you're talking team, if you're the leader of the team and you have the choice of, let's say, recruiting the players onto your team, let's say you're a coach of any sport, you're in charge of who comes onto your bus being your team. And if you got members of your bus, if your team, if they're not all sitting first class, you probably don't need them on your bus, because your bus is not going to reach the full heights that it could unless everybody's up there in first class. Everybody's got to have and believe in that same vision, have the same goals, have that same work ethic, that same desire. And when you get someone in there that doesn't match, negativity breeds quick and it tears it apart. Tears the dynamic, the fabric, the locker room, whatever it is, tears that team apart. Be very careful with your bus. Protect your bus. And like I said, it's not just enough to get the right people. Put them in the right seats. And that is what I'm giving you today about how to earn a victory. I like that one. That one we all need a reminder of quite a bit. State of the Substack. I released this on my Substack the other day, and Jay Washington watching on YouTube with a hi. Hello, Jay. Thank you so much, man, for watching, listening. Everyone watching, listening on YouTube, Facebook, or on Substack. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. I'm not here without you. And that's a big part of what the State of the Substack starts. Right. We celebrated a 1-year anniversary this week on Monday. That was the finish of the first year of Cory Hogue Sports. And listen, while this Substack didn't come about because of how we thought it would or should or whatever that may be, that's all the past. And so now it's about moving forward. And I wanted to be, I got to be honest with you. You deserve my full honesty because you're on my bus. You got to know where we're going. You got to know how we're doing, how we're getting there. You're the ones keeping me on track. So where are we right now? We're not in a bad spot, in my opinion. I think for a first year in a very niche category that we are trying to reach and grow, 44,434 views on Substack is pretty good, especially considering that I took about 6 months or so to kind of get myself together and didn't really produce nothing, not even nothing. And by the way, since I came back, you guys are feeling the energy too. 42 days since I came back, 10,500 views. It's incredible. Came back on July 6th. 10,500 views since then. That's what you're doing. We're all in this together right now. And if we keep that up, it's going to be fine because I'm telling you, content's not stopping. I'm as focused as I've ever been. I'm as motivated as I've ever been. I'm in a very good spot right now. And my goal is to continue what got me here. And what got me here was following the earn philosophy. It really was. And the desire to have consistent success, which means every day I have to wake up and go back to earning that day's victory. Not every day is going to be a positive day. You're going to have some negative days. Try to keep the negative from getting too negative. And don't let the positive get too positive. I'm a person that if things start going really well, I'm ready to crash. I'm going to go the other way. I want to keep it in the middle. I want to keep steady, consistent. Effort, attitude, response, no excuses, never quit. Listen, it's going to lead, I think, to new heights. Across our Substack, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, the brand generated more than 156,000 views. And that took me a little bit to get to calling it a brand. But it is. It's a brand. 156,000 views. It's pretty good. The challenge is going to, listen, the number one challenge is going to always be grow the readership. Because if you're not growing, nothing else that is following on your to-do list is going to do anything but keep you're stagnant or you're falling, right? Nothing on that to-do list is, and the to-do list of, look, I got to grow my readership. Then you got to find sponsors and find, You don't do anything else till you grow that. It's always number one. And so number one and the focus this next year is growing the readership. Most of the money that I get from the Substack, it's going into growing, to promoting, to getting ads out there onto different social medias and things like that for what I can. What I can afford. This is not a $1 million operation, not even, it's a few $1,000 operation right now. And that's okay. It's a great place to start because there's only any place to go but up. That's it. It's going up. But it only goes up if you grow the readership. And you guys can help me with that by sharing it anywhere you see. You talk to people who love the non-FBS sports, the levels that you're here for. People who want to hear more about the sports. I mean, listen, that was a fantastic Little League World Series game that just ended between Iowa and California. Combined no-hitter for Iowa and a 1-0 victory. That's fun. These are things we can talk about. Let them know. Give them a link to the Substack. Spread the word. You bring so many more. And also, if you're a subscriber and you refer them, there's rewards for that. And I try to make it real rewards for that. And if you think I need more rewards, let me know. Let me know. I'm open to anything. I want to, whatever it takes to grow the readership. Because the more our readership grows, the more we're getting people that love non-FBS football and sports in general, right? Like it's not just football anymore. Basketball, men's and women's, baseball, softball, all of that's going to have some coverage now over this next year. You know someone who loves those things. They have a kid playing in it. Whatever it is, hook them up here. Let's get that. Let's build that community. That's how we're going to grow. So I'm going to try to do my part. And I ask you to please do your part. And many of you have been, and I am so grateful and so appreciative. And that's the thing, your support means more than anything else. I want to grow the readership because your support is giving me that confidence and that boost and that energy to do so. Sure. The hope is it leads to more paid subscriptions, to sponsorships, and helping things that cover its own expenses. Look, ideally, I'd love to be at a football game every week, reporting from there. It's just not how it is right now. I think I've got one football game that I'm pretty well set with right now. And a lot of it, right, I want to see how this season kind of plays out a bit and see how things are going. And then there's also the content stuff, right? And we're going to get into that here in a little bit, but there's some content things like you guys love the clipboard on Sundays, or on late Saturday nights. If I'm at a game, that's messing with me being able to get that clipboard done. And so we might have to rework some of those things if I get to the point where I can attend some games. And there's going to be a trial run with it this year. There's going to be a trial run. We're looking at mid-late October in a place I've never visited. I've never visited the town or the stadium. There's your hint. Not giving it away yet. That's your hint. We're going to be there mid to late October in a town I've never visited, at a stadium I've never visited. And hopefully one day it can cover its own expenses. And if any of you know someone, or you yourself are willing to jump on and want to join this brand and support this brand further, and you've got the opportunity, ability, a business, whatever it is, to sponsor and I welcome you in. If you want to come in and sell sponsorships, I will give you a fair to above fair market value in commission on it. But that's all I have. I got that, and I can offer you access to the site. I don't have anything else right now. And that's okay. Because those who join me now, you're the real ones. I'll never forget. You're going to be with me. I'm going to protect you as much as I can along the way. So that's the state of the Substack. In my opinion, I tell you all the time, you set your own level of what is success. And for me, the first year of Substack was successful. Really didn't have expectations, and that helps, but really good for a very niche topic. It right where it needs to be to start, but it is only a start. We cannot stop. It has got to build, and it's going to build, and I am a big part of that, but so are you. And I look forward to having you a part of the team. We're talking some dysfunction today. Is that what Nick Saban's thing was about? Dysfunction? Dysfunction. Allow me to introduce you to Texas Southern University. Holy moly. They somehow manage to turn the hiring of a new athletic director and a men's basketball coach into yet another public relations disaster. Wrote about it. It released mid this morning, a few hours ago, about 10 o'clock here on Friday morning. Go read. It is truly an opinion. And I'm one, and you guys know, I don't just like to give you the problem. I like to give you how you can find a solution. I don't know the solution exactly, but you've got to know where to look for it. Kind of put some of that in there. And the problem with Texas Southern isn't the coaching. They are organizationally dysfunctional. And it's a lack of alignment from the top down. The question is, and here's why I can't give you the solution, where is the break in that alignment? Listen, sometimes the break starts at the top, the very, very top, at the president of the Board of Regents. I'm not saying it does. I'm not privy to all this. I don't know. But if it does, until you solve that, you're going to have dysfunction completely through the rest of the organization. Is that dysfunction at the athletic director spot, not having one? Where is this dysfunction at? You got to identify the location of it, because it's not the coaches, it's higher than that. Because until you find where Texas Southern has that part of whoever out of alignment, changing coaches and athletic directors, administrators, it's only treating the symptoms. You're not treating the disease at all. And we're talking, this now goes back to 2023, when with the mess that happened back then with trying to find a head coach. Look, you landed on a fantastic head coach, Chris Dishman, fantastic hire. How you got there, it was chaotic as all get out. And unnecessarily so. You're giving, you think there shouldn't, a lot of people, and I'm not going to say them specifically, but I have talked to many in organizations at universities that believe that there should never be a leak. You're not going to stop it. Thinking that you're never going to have a leak. There are some places that can. Those places that don't have the leaks, guess what? They're not dysfunctional. You want to stop the leak, get your alignment correct. Leaks is showing your lack of alignment. And if you don't like the leak, find out where that leak is coming from. Fix your alignment. That's, you have organizations that you don't hear anything coming out of until bam, it breaks. Those are organizations that have their stuff together. And sometimes, especially when you're talking in this, you can't just stop this. Listen, I'm a reporter. People tell me things. And I'm not saying it's people on the Board of Regents. I'm not saying it's coaches. I'm not saying it's administrators. But listen, you're not sneaking people around your campus. There's janitors, there's players, there's all these other people that see them come in, meet them. You have to introduce them. That's where a lot of times and you're not going to stop those things. But that's okay. Prepare for the fact you're not stopping it and have something ready. Because if you know, in this case, with men's basketball coach, if you know that your men's basketball coach is going to be a bit controversial of a hire, you need to have the PR communications on the same page to go, okay, here's how we handle this, because it's coming. And if you don't think it's coming, if you don't see it coming, there's a line, there's a dysfunction. There's a part that's out of alignment, because you got to be able to know that. You don't have honest people. If you don't have people around you that tell you, hey, this coach that you're trying to hire is going to cause some problems, it's going to be controversial, and you're not finding ways to handle that, there is no alignment in that organization. And it does not help at all when the new men's head basketball coach calls Texas Southern, TSU, and instead of calling it the correct acronym, he calls it TCU. 3 times. 3 times. These are self-inflicted wounds. Patch them up, please. And I do feel for the new athletic director. I mean, Ashley is not a guy who is coming. A lot of this drama wasn't necessarily over him. Some of the drama from Jackson State does not. It doesn't necessarily apply here, but now he's caught up in it too. And listen, unless you give him the authority to make the decisions, this chaos, next time you need a new coach, you're going to have the same thing. Got to trust your people you put in place. But, we have so much more dysfunction to talk about. That's coming up. And this isn't necessarily dysfunction, but wrote about it this week on Substack. D3 possibly moving to the 5-for-5 eligibility model. It is a consideration similar to Division I, and yes, we're going to get to the recent judicial decrees from today at the end of the show. Believe me. Look, I am not opposed to change simply because it's change. And there are some people, there's a group of people in Division III that they do remind me of those old baseball traditionalists, you know, the ending of the DH, the making of the DH is going to ruin the game. The ending of the DH is going to ruin the game. The pitchers, replay ruins the game. ABS ruins the game. None of it's ruined baseball. None of it has. Sometimes it's enhanced our viewing. It made things a little better. It's made some corrections. Maybe a perfect game could have happened if Jim Joyce wasn't making a bad call at first base. Like, baseball history changed because you didn't have replay. That's a problem. So you can't just oppose it simply because we're D3. That's how we are. We're traditional baseballists, whichever way you want to spin it. But there is something that D3 does, and they claim that their philosophy makes it different. And it's true. It is completely different. There's no athletic scholarships in Division III. And so that alone makes it different. If you're trying to make Division I, Division II, and Division III follow the exact same eligibility rules simply for uniformity, then you're doing it for the wrong reasons. If D3 is making an eligibility change because it's best for the Division III itself and its model, and it aligns with your philosophy that you make a big deal about, and rightfully so, then okay. But to ask Division III to just simply come up and do a 5-for-5 model when everything in its philosophy has been based upon how many semesters you get to get a degree and go right now. Of course, there's look, pregnancy, military, there's things you got to have that's going to have some exceptions. There always are, and you got to build those in. But D3 is not set up for 5 years for most people. Graduate degree is one thing if you get that in a year, but a lot of people aren't even getting a graduate program may not even be at that D3 school. And don't talk to me right now about if they transfer, if a Division III player is good enough to transfer to D1 or D2, guess what? As soon as they leave D3 and they enter that realm of D1 and D2, they go into that eligibility model for the 5-for-5. It's not hard for the compliance folks. You're not adding any problems. They're all going, it's uniform across the board. And if there's an exception, it's uniform in what the exceptions can be. That's how you do it. But we see the dysfunction. Now we're getting lawsuits again. And listen, I'm getting into this at the end of it a little bit more. And I wrote about it a couple of weeks ago. It hasn't changed. The NCAA is they have to blame themselves. And Division III, each division has its own leadership responsible for the failures that we're seeing right now. So unless they come out, the leadership of Division III comes out and can specifically say why this is best and aligns with the D3 philosophy, then why change? D3 can be different. It's okay to be different. It's supposed to be different. Let it be different. Let it be that part that brings those traditionalists in. It's not bad to have a division that has a lot of people kind of traditional longing after it. It's okay. You can draw a whole big old crowd into that. But you're pushing them away right now because you're trying to make it uniform. That's my problem. Before I come in and tell you here in just a second about the football content that's going to be starting next week, we are shifting to pure football content each week. I'm going to take a 10-second break. Be right back. How about the countdown on the screen? Man, had to get a drink quick. Speaking of football, content on Cory Hogue Sports.substack.com is coming in full force. And it starts on Monday. This show, I'm going to do everything in my power to have a show on Mondays and Fridays at 1 p.m. I know Monday I missed, but sometimes life will get in the way. And life happenings happened unavoidable. It was just best to rearrange the schedule a little bit Monday. I apologize for that, but I'm going to do my best, especially moving forward, not to have those issues on Mondays and Fridays. And part of that, part of that is still me getting some of my schedule together. I got to avoid scheduling things during that time, and there's certain things I just can't unschedule. So Mondays and Fridays. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, that's where you're going to get your features, your analysis pieces, your opinion pieces. Could be on what's happening with NCAA, with sports and with football and whatever it is. Those are going to be reserved for Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And I also say features because I want to get some feature stories going. I'm beginning that process of getting there. When I talked about the state of the Substack, one of the things I continually run into is realizing that I am one person doing about 4 or 5 different things. And so that's why growing the readership is always number one, because I don't have time to do the other things sometimes because I've got to create the graphics. I've got to write the stories. I've got to I've got to have the interviews for the features. I want to schedule guests. For one person, there's a lot, and there's only so much time in a day. And so a way of me protecting kind of myself and my mental sanity is to remind myself that this is a lot. And some of this may not happen all the time, but I'm going to do my best to make it happen. So features, opinions, analysis, maybe of a team, maybe something like that. Get those to you on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Thursdays, you're getting the weekend warm-up. It's back. Guess what? The scoreboard and stream guide will be back next week as well. And that's going to be free all the time. You want to know where to watch any team in a conference that has a Texas team in non-FBS. So we're going to have a stream guide for the Southland, the SWAC, the UAC, the Lone Star Conference, ASC, SCAC, SAA, the Sooner Athletic Conference, the Southwestern Junior College Football Conference. If there's a team in that conference having a game and you're interested in it, it's going to have a scoreboard and a guide of where to stream it if I can find a link. And sometimes those links may be paid, and sometimes those links break and they're not. It's the non-FBS world, guys. You can't expect perfection around here, which is fine. It's what makes part of it fun. And then on Sunday mornings, right now, I'm 8 a.m. Cory's clipboard. Could it get pushed if more game coverage happens? That's what we're going to test out this year. The time, the release of the clipboard, I'm not sure it being on a Sunday. I think here's always the debate that I have internally and with some others. By Monday, you're moved on a lot of times to the next week. So if I'm publishing the clipboard on Monday, it's a little bit late, it seems like. Sunday seems to be the prime day. But if it's late Sunday, is it still going to work or is it not? If it's Monday, because it's non-FBS, will that be okay? Or have we already moved on? A lot of times we have. Because when I sit down Monday, I'm not thinking about last week. I'm thinking about this week. So those are things that we're doing. Listen, I need your thoughts and opinions about this. Because there's no point doing a clipboard if you don't get to read it. And that's why I need what you guys, your thoughts, your opinions, your feelings about this stuff. So again, Monday starts the content. Start of season content on Monday, which means Tuesday, you're getting the preseason non-FBS power rankings for the state of Texas. Every single one of them. And give you a little bit of insight. When I do these, I tend to dissect them by, especially preseason, who I believe are national title contenders, conference title contenders, mid-conference contenders, lower bottom conference feeders, right? Like those, that's kind of how I divide it. And then I go from there. And a lot of it's just based upon what I feel like, and you know, what I feel around that team, how I see it, things of that nature. That's coming Tuesday. Also on Tuesday, Texas Wesleyan was given their official invitation to Division II, something I reported on the Substack. If you were there back in February, you saw it. I'm going to look and see. I'm going to have some more thoughts about it on Tuesday. Maybe even revisit some of those thoughts I had about it back in February, see where I stand. And then on Thursday, week 0 warm-up. Again, let me explain. I'm using this next week is week 0. I know Division III doesn't start till the week after. I know JUCO started today. We're going with the majority. Majority is ruling on this. Week 0 warm-up is going to start on Thursday. And why I kept that up instead of putting up there you go. See, I'm human. And I thought about it because it's time to talk about this. This is a late ad to the show today. For those who have not had the chance to get onto your social media or any news, anything of that nature today, I think it was the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals that put a halt to the Wisney decision in North Carolina about the 5-for-5 rule and the class of 22 being eligible. Listen, and again, I've talked about it. I feel like it's starting to beat a dead horse. The NCAA did this to themselves. It didn't have to be this way. They had the chances, and they still do in a way, in my opinion, to keep this from being so chaotic and dysfunctional. But nobody wants to step up and take charge. You're afraid of the backlash. So you're not going to get someone stepping up and taking charge. That's what we're seeing. There's a fear of it. And that's a problem. Why are you afraid? Part of making decisions, if you want to be in a leadership position, is dealing with the blowback. And what's the best way to deal with the blowback? Have people around you who's going to see it coming and have PR people and communications people experienced enough to say, this is how we're going to fight this. It's coming. This is what we do. You have a response prepared. They don't. Because they're afraid. They're afraid of the backlash it's going to get anyway. So just make a darn decision. And it is, I hate to use this word, but it is stupid out there right now. Stupid. When my Twitter feed tells me that Cleveland Brown defensive end or whatever is coming back for a 5th year of college, it's ignorant. We've gone past, this is funny. No, this is so ridiculous. And if you're a player and you've gone on to NFL camp because you thought that your college career was over and you didn't make it, you made the choice to go professional. You're not coming back. If you're a player who did not pursue professional ranks, was in the portal in class of 2022, I'd be open to that. But nobody wants to make a decision on this. And then the courts are going to go back and forth. We're not done with this either, by the way. It's going to end up at the Supreme Court. And so we're just going to make it more political. And that it gets ridiculous. We got to stop all that. We're not going to, though. I'm going to continue to decry it. I'm going to continue to talk about it. I'm going to continue to try to expose the NCAA dysfunction that they have with this stuff, give ways it could be corrected. But it's not going to change it. It is out of control crazy. And no, you can't have people going and playing and trying out for pro teams and in pro camps coming back and playing another year of college. And you can't have courts making broad, random decisions for all people in a certain class. And to think it could have all been avoided by coming out and being clear and decisive and firm from the beginning from the NCAA. But it wasn't. So here we are. If you are in Frisco tonight at the Rough Riders game, come say hi. If you see sunshine or you see me there, come say hello. Lexi, we'll be there tonight. Gonna go to watch the Corny Dogs play. It's Corny Dog night at Frisco. I think they're gonna have Fletcher's Corn Dogs there as well. I think their truck's supposed to be there. I know it's gonna be hot, but man, it's gonna be fun. And I've got that Corny Dog hat that I'm gonna be wearing tonight. Frisco Corny Dog. It's a great logo. Other than that, have a fantastic weekend. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for your support. I cannot tell you the amount of gratitude that I feel for each and every one of you. It's unbelievable. And it's because of you. And I thank you. So, till Monday, have a blessed weekend and enjoy you some junior college football tomorrow night.
Clear, sharp and bold. Covering every team, every season, every story worth being told. The Cory Hogue Sports Show. The Cory Hogue Sports Show. Big stories and real conversations bring the truth.